Okay, let's take a look at some of this information and see if we can try and formulate at least a way to try and debug this or try and see what the problem might be. Um, I'm still learning Buffout for also, so a lot of the information is cryptic to me as well. But perhaps in some of the keywords, we can find something that might clue us into something we can try to at least try and help isolate what the issue could possibly be. So, given that, let's take a look at what you have. Okay, in this particular instance, um, IMAD is a record type that controls or provides information to the game engine, I'm going to assume, about an image space adapter. Now that's interesting because I would consider adapter to be like a GPU, but image space would be. I'm going to go out on a limb here unless someone comes along and corrects me. Which, if I'm incorrect, I hope they do. Basically, the game engine renders visual data, and they want to provide ways to modify that visual data, whether it is like in Fallout 3 where everything has a tint of green, everything has a tint of red. For example, if you're using like a thermal scope. So, so basically, then the game engine looks for information that will change some of the way it renders what you see, some of that being color. So I'm going to assume that the image space adapter has something to do with that, or changing the way that the rendered information looks. Where it has an invalid key size of 0, I'm not sure if it's looking for the actual record length or a key size that goes to something else, another piece of data. So IMAD looks a lot like what they call IFF. It's interchange file format. You've seen this back in the 80s. Amiga used it a lot. And basically, it's a 4-character identifier for a chunk of data, and then usually that's succeeded by the size of the data chunk, and then whatever the format of the data chunk is. And that was supposed to allow data chunks to be interchangeable between different platforms by simply saying, okay, I know this data chunk belongs to this particular format, this data chunk is this size, and therefore I know how to process it. You got to excuse the cat. The cat has been doing this for about a week. Okay, so it looks like this is in betterstores.esp, and I'm guessing that might be an SS2 add-on. If Better Stores, if it's an SS2 add-on and you have not used any of the plot types from Better Stores, then I would try to disable that, remove that, or deactivate it from your load order. Make sure you save your current load order back out, or if you're using like I think Mod Organizer 2, it might do it for you. But deactivate that, and then see if you still have the same problem. But before you try to go to was it Sunshine Tidings? Before you try to go to that, after you take it out, load your game, save it again, then reload it, and then try. The second thing I would try to do, which is a little bit outside of this, would be to download Resaver and load your last game save up, even the one that you would have gone in and deactivated Better Stores ESP. If you cannot do that, then we're just going to skip that for now and see if we can try a few other debugging steps and see what we get. Resaver is an option because if you have a lot of unattached instances, which are scripts, you might want to take a look at removing those, and also scanning for null purify your form list, which I think scan for null references. Not sure whether it's form lists or what exactly it's looking for. He may have it coded to only look for specific fields in a specific form type. Therefore, it may not check everything. but it might be worth a try. Okay, the other thing is your crash file here. So we're going to start out by taking a look at that. Let's go over to where I have your crash file downloaded, and let's just drop it on here to bring it up. Okay, so I don't see any. Let's do the normal thing of doing looking for some type of Buffout information. Okay, so I've had these before. Where it says kernel base. I'm not sure what this is. I really would love to know what this address call is for. This memory, I would really love to have a memory map of these function calls, so we can actually say, okay, this is trying to allocate a list, this is trying to access a list, something to help isolate it back to a particular function. I've had these before. I do not know what caused these, because I remember these were in my last playthrough. And a couple of things that changed in my playthrough was adding the previs repair pack. And I know that I updated unique creatures with a mod that cleaned a lot of that stuff up. But I do see a lot of this 0020, as you can see over here, where I've had quite a few crashes with it. I'm not sure what this is, but if I can figure that out, then that's going to really help clean up a lot of these problems. Okay, so nothing is going to show up there. So you can see where we have file, these things kind of stand out. Now I think a static object might be, I'm assuming that's going to be something like, if you look at the Far Harbor residence, I'm not really sure about that, but let me see. I would think that static objects would, I think a static collection would be like, let's say like trees, like previs, precombines, things like that, where you have a group of objects that are collected together in one. So let's go in here and see if we can find out what we have as far as that goes. So let's take a look at this. It looks like a lot of these popped up with this Wasteland Venturers. This is another one I would take a look at. Now, just because it's in here does not mean that that's what caused the crash. It means that's what was on the stack at the time the crash happened, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that is what caused it. But we could try, if we could eliminate that by deactivating it, I think that it's been a while since I used that. I think that adds like settlers or something that travels back and forth between SS2 settlements, or something like that. If we can deactivate, if as moving towards the end of our checklist, deactivating that, if it's possible without causing a lot of problems, I would recommend doing that. Okay, so we're trying to find static collections here. See, we have static collections. It looks like the static collection comes from the Wasteland Venture Pack. And what's interesting is I didn't see any root node problems. So I didn't see anything that would say like a node problem or anything from, let's say, a power grid issue. I see a couple scrap heaps in here. I don't know. This might be one of the things you might want to look at is using, if you have Buffout 4 and you're using Baka. I didn't actually look to see if you're using Baka. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you don't have Baka. Okay, so if you're using Buffout 4, you wanna go into the DLLs and change it so that it will use better memory allocation. Let's see. It looks like this. The config file looks something like this, and I believe it's, down here you want to take a look at like create. You want to make sure these warnings are on, which it should be, but you can double check. And I do believe the memory manager is set to false, but you do want, I set mine to true, this one right here. And then I also set, let me see, I think this one I had to set to true. But kind of take a look at this right here, because this is what I'm currently using. Now here is your image space adapter, which can corrupt your memory and crash your game. This is what this automatically, I believe this is set to true by default, and that's what popped up before. So I think it said better stores was that's what it showed as the problem. So if it was me, I know I got a game save that I can fall back on. So the first thing I would try to do is deactivate from my load order better stores. But the problem is if that was the original issue you had and memory got corrupted, it could have corrupted your game save. So we can use Resaver to take a look at your game save to see if there's any unattached instances or anything like that that can be removed. So in effect, trying to clean up the game save at a very basic level. It's very limited to what it can do. Resaver is limited to what it can do, but at least it's something. Now, sometimes when I've used Resaver to clean a game save, it literally crashes when I load that game save. So that game save might be totally trashed. But it doesn't hurt to try. So that is something I would look at as well. And also look at suspended stacks. Now, suspended stacks are normal under certain circumstances. There's only so much the VM can do, and then it'll suspend stuff that it can't finish before it moves on to something else. And then when it comes back, it unsuspends those items, processes them, and then, kind of continues, about its way. So the only thing that would be a problem with a suspended stack is if it gets up in really, really high numbers, and then there's a problem somewhere. A system that doesn't have like really high-end hardware, like a really good GPU, really good CPU, and all that kind of stuff, suspended stacks may be a consistent issue. I generally don't have them that I see, although they do pop up every now and then. I notice in past SS2 tests, I would have them when there was issues that they then later fixed. And then I really didn't have the issue with it. So it won't be too much longer. I'll put SS2 in and see if we can see what else, see what other kind of problems pop up for me, and then see if that helps anybody else. Okay, so let's go back to our file here. Let's see if we can locate these files. Okay, so if we keep going through it, let's see if we can get some. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these keywords. See, like static collection. So let's go over. Let's go over and let's take a look at static collection. Let's see, which is what I've already done here. And it basically says missing, conflicting, or corrupted pre-combined previs data. So this would probably cause a crash as well, because I noticed that you did not have PRP in your load order. You didn't have BACA. Just to show you, see, it'll show, let's see, I think it's down here in your plugin list. Where's our plugin list here? Right here. So there's no, I don't see BACA or anything like that. Okay, so that would be, in that case, that would be the way I would take a look at it. I would take a look at it, let's see, where's our other window at here? Where did it hide to? There it is. Okay, so the first thing I would do, given this information, is I would try to take out better stores and then possibly take out Wasteland Ventures. I know I've used it. It may require some kind of update. I'm not really sure. Like it may require an update since SS2's been updated. That particular mod pack, or that particular, not mod pack, but that particular add-on to SS2 might require an update. If you can take those out. Second thing I would do is use Resaver to take a look at your game save, take a look at suspended stacks, purify your form lists and see if it finds anything, and then see how many unattached instances you have, and then remove those, and then try to load that back up. If it loads okay, resave it, and then make an attempt. And you might want to consider installing PRP, which is the Previs Repair Pack. I've got that installed in my load order. Let me clear these out real quick. I got this in, I got it down here. So I basically put it first, and then every other previs repair pack that comes with the mod, I also put that in there. You might try putting PR. I believe PRP has PRP, and let's see if we can do it like this. All right, let me see. Yeah, I don't think I have the option in here at the moment, but we can do it like this. PPF, this is what you want here. So it'd be like two files. So it's these two files. I know we can do it probably like this. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I don't see it. We can do it like this. This will be. I'll have to add the option to the menu. Let's see. Let's go this way. So let's see what this does. Okay. So here we go. Let's take a look at. We'll do a check install here. Okay, I don't have that version installed. It looks like I've got this one installed. Yes. So here's basically what you're going to have. You're going to have your PPF ESM. You'll have an ESM, an ESP, and then you're going to have the resource files and the previs pre-combined data that goes with your previs repair pack. So those would be the things I could try. You could try adding PRP, and you want to put it fairly low in your load order. Some people put it at the bottom. I didn't have luck putting it at the bottom, so I put it up a little bit. You can use Xedit to see if any of the previs gets overwritten with anything. You can look for conflicts in record types, and then hope the game save is okay. Hope it's good to use. And then try resaver to see if anything shows up. And then if you can remove those two mods, try that. Don't go to Sunshine just yet. Save it. After you load your game up, if you change it with resaver, or if you wind up disabling mods, load it, save it, go into resaver, remove unattached instances, purify form list, save your game save back, load that game save back up, save it back out, load it back up again, and then try to go to Sunshine Tidings. I know it's a pain. I wish I could provide more information as to what that particular error was, but if I was going to debug it with just the information I have, that would be the way I would approach it. I hope that helps, and good luck with it, and let us know if you have any other problems.